I like to call this one a bit of epiphany, right? Like, voila, alakazam type of thing for me. Because this all started with I was talking to Cuzzo, right? And we was just getting into this conversation about people who have once been married and how, a divorcee, a divorcer, whatever the fuck the word is, how once you date someone who's been divorced, it's like it's hard. Its communication is hard. They're lazy when it comes to dating and taking you places and ideas and just how people have had these different experiences of people who have been divorced. And then something hit me hard. I think we're giving people who are married or who have been married too much goddamn credit. Then the person who has remained single all their lives before they have decided to even marry somebody. I think the married person is getting too much damn credit that they do not deserve. What am I saying here? I'm starting to feel and see that people who run and get married, number one, they're with somebody who can deal with their bullshit and can deal with how fucked up that they are. Someone who can deal with all of the shit with them, or there's an image that they're trying to put out there and that person is helping them do that. But behind closed doors is something else. And I was once told to stay out of married people's business. And I understand why they want you to stay out their business, because what's going on back there is very stupid, very fucking stupid, and childish as well, right? People who are married, we have seen this marriage thing as if people get married out of love. Maybe they do believe they love each other. People get married out of, we're soulmates and we known each other for a long time. Some people may get married because of that. And some people get married because they don't want nobody to fucking, that's the only thing that can tolerate their ass. Or that's what they feel is the best thing to do or push someone into. I know people who rush people in to push them into marry them and they quickly get divorced, or people right now want to divorce them, the other person don't want to. But the point is, we've given them too much goddamn credit. We've taken people and we looked at them because they took the step to walk down a motherfucking aisle together and have a reception together or run to the courthouse together. We made it seem like they were the relationship gurus. We see these old people together and y'all asking these questions of what keeps y'all together, and everybody just laughing at the answer. And those of us that got a brain realize this answer, it just don't seem like the answer. It just don't, something about it don't make sense, because it don't make sense. Okay, it don't make sense. And that is the issue right there when it comes to people who are married and making them the relationship gurus. They're not the relationship gurus. And this is why when you do date someone who's divorced, it can almost make you feel some type of way about yourself, because you're like, well, damn, weren't you married? Don't you know how to do this shit? Don't you know how to go on a date? Don't you know how to wine and dine me? Don't you know how to do? Don't you know how to? And the thing is, no. What they do know how to do is manipulate. They know how to cry. They know how to avoid conversations. Hence, that's why they're fucking divorced. They want things what they want, but they don't want to change. And this is the pattern. And this is the problem with people who date people who've been divorced. You sit here, you date them, and you want this, and you want that. and you think, and before your mind begins to pick it up, no wonder your ass is divorced. And unfortunately, you may have to face the fact that you got the loser. You got the one that got left in the marriage. Sometimes the loser be the one leaving, believe it or not. But other than that, most of the time, that's the one that just sit around and what's that, cruise in the relationship. People sit here and date people who are married, and in all reality, you're still not getting nothing out of it but what you believe that you're getting out of being with someone who's married. You're just getting something where you know you don't have to fully commit because that person has something they already have at home. But then you have to be very careful even with that. Me personally, excuse me, I don't fuck with people who are even in relationships. If I'm a Libra, if I'm dealing with somebody in a relationship, trust me, I don't know that they're in a relationship. People are very good for doing that to Libra. Very notorious to doing that to us. And another thing, these these people who were once married, if you find yourself in a space where you are communicating with this person and you are spinning around and you're just like, what the fuck is this? Let it go. Let the shit go. And I'm telling you to let it go because they have not matured in expressing themselves. They have not matured in trying to not just say what they have to say instead of manipulate all day. They have not matured. Okay? I am saying this because I noticed for the past years, I've been not just myself, but I've been crossing paths with people who have of course around this age anyway, who are dating people who have been divorced. And I'm noticing what we all, yes, we all talk about and what we all have to say. And I notice even more that it is even emotionally hurting people, making, slowly in this way, making what is the word here? Making us feel, if I was to take all of our feelings together, like we're not worthy for more. That's what it is. Like we're not worthy to have more from this person. But I realize that we're giving them too much credit. We're giving these married people too much credit. They have had a relationship with somebody that they have been able to emotionally and mentally control. They have had a relationship with somebody where they never had to put 100% into what they did. Whatever they thought was halfway of it, that's what they did. They have had a relationship where they have got to cruise in that relationship. They have had a relationship where whatever sex that they gave, it made them feel special in that relationship. So what's going on is now that they're not with this person that made them feel like the creme de la creme, and they come around you, the insecurities begin to bubble up low key. And that's what happens after you marry someone who's been divorced. So Yeah, like I said, they already been broken. And that's how it is. When you really sit down and you talk to them and you listen to them, they were jealous, they were mean, they caused the problem in the relationship. And what I have to say to you is you have to now look at yourself and why did you attract the person who was the cause. I don't think it matters, honestly. I don't think it matters which side of the divorcee that you be with. I think just a married person, period, is complicated to be with. I just do. But you have to look at how do you get out of reflecting this type of relationship in your life, especially if you are in that womb of savior complex, especially if you're in that womb of self-sabotage where you choose people lower than who you are vibrationally. Whatever womb that you're sitting in, you have to start tapping into that and start recognizing that womb. See, I recognize that I have allowed people lower than me, been in spaces with people lower than me. I've been in spaces where I thought the person was something above myself and they weren't. I had to learn how to look at the spirit of a motherfucking person, not the physical material things that a person has that means nothing. I had to learn to go there when it comes to people. I had to learn to go there when it comes to myself. I'm not going to lie to you. I had a recent message a day ago, and I looked at it. I looked at it in a way I couldn't, like, if you asked me to look at that message 8 months ago to now, I would have responded to that message a different way 8 months ago to now. And the reason why is because I realized, okay, what is this person truly saying in this message? Okay, this person is expressing one thing and one thing only. I simply refuse to communicate. I simply refuse to say how I feel. I simply refuse to express myself. That's what I saw in that message. Finally, that's what I saw. And I did not go into wounded savior mode to try to still have a conversation with someone like that. Because one thing I learned from the mistakes I've made, I see things for what it is. Okay? You can't communicate. You're not gonna say nothing. You just gonna just you're not gonna try to even try to get something out and make something of it. You're just gonna say, okay, we're just gonna leave it like that. We're just gonna leave it like that. That's how you gotta that's what I'm saying. And what happens is what that does for your life, it begins to move your life. How does it begin to move your life? It begins to move your life because you'll begin to realize, okay, this is a step above anything that I've done before, right? This is a step above myself from trying to coddle people. So let's get into people who have this wounded savior complex. Now, I have not gotten my chance to actually read books on this, and I don't think I need to read a book on this, honestly. Okay? I really don't think I need to. I think that one second. I don't think I really so much need to read a book on that. What I will say is this: you have to check your patterns in your life. All right? See, people in these marriages, I've heard somebody who's married say, if we have to go to marriage counseling, then we need to break up. And I'm like, that's childish. That's childish. And that's not growth. That's not growth. We don't have to use the word manipulative, but that's not growth. I heard someone who said, we went to marriage counseling and I should have took it serious and I did not. These people who are married don't take the time to do any type of self-reflecting. They do not know how. And see, the problem with married people is they're the ones who try to go out here as if they know it all, as if they have the answer. But you ever ask yourself why wives so goddamn annoying? Because they're unhappy, because they don't really know how to have a relationship, and they're fucking immature. They're still little girls that believe they're grown women in these marriages, especially if she's married very young. She thinks she knows it all. And then you wonder where her jealousy and her envy and all this stuff comes from when you are a free woman, a feral woman. Yeah. You wonder where the husband's jealousy and envy comes from with you as well, or not liking you being her friend. You have to know what you're dealing with. And it's too many times online that we've seen these relationship couples, whether it doesn't matter the gender, and the next thing you know, shit fall apart in these marriages. The next thing you know, somebody getting beat down and hurt and killed and shit. And these are your relationship guru people. These are your relationship guru people. My thing is this, from what I'm saying, because this message is really more for people who are out there dating and you're finding yourself dating somebody who has been divorced And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you think that, maybe they don't have enough time. Maybe they need time to heal and all this shit. Let me tell you something. If it's past 2 years they were in divorce and they're acting the way that they're acting, that's who they are. You with somebody that's divorced and you're expecting romantic gestures and ideas to go places, you're going to find yourself disappointed. You have to be the one to create those ideas. You have to be the one to bring people into your world. Okay? You have to be like, look, I want to go to the library. Let's go to the library. Look, I saw this space out here, this park or whatever. You want to go to a picnic? Let's go to a picnic out there. Come on, let's go. You have to be the one to push the narrative. Now, let's get to it. The wounded savior complex. What's that? The wounded savior complex is somebody who you have to recognize your pattern of why you are attracting people beneath your caliber of who you are. Some people question, what is that? What does it mean for someone to be beneath your caliber for who you are? Well, depending how you live your life and who you are and knowing who you are, you know what's beneath you. You know what's beneath your caliber. You know energetically what you don't fuck with. It's that simple. I don't have to explain that. It's that simple. When you know yourself, you know what you fuck with and you know what you don't fuck with, and you know what kind of people you fuck with and you know what kind of people you don't fuck with. You know what kind of spaces and places that you've been and that you go to versus the kind of people that you be around. I done gave a million examples and explanations of how of how when you live your life at a certain frequency and you put yourself in a certain frequency of something, how what begins to happen is that it turns into, how do I say this? You can't get out of that frequency, no matter how hard you try. People can sense that frequency about you, even if you try to hide it. So if you go to an interior design event with Kelly Wearstler, and you took a cute little interior design class with her, and you was there with her and the crew of people that's with her, you purchased something from Kelly Wearstler at the spot, even if it's just goddamn $25. And then you meet people while you're there, and other interior designers and architectures. Then you go home and you take that energy home with you and you start navigating your life in that way. You begin to develop a mentality with that lifestyle. And so therefore you get up and you go outside, or you go into this world with people and they can just sense that vibration in you. When you walk into an interior type of store, furniture store, whatever, just the way you walk, the way you move, you're going to pick up a tray. You're going to take that tray and you're going to start putting things inside the tray to decide how you want to decorate something and what color you want. You're going to pick up a stone and put it next to the lamp. You're going to take the lights and you're going to look at the different lighting. As an interior designer and an architect, you're going to have an architectural mindset. When you walk into that space, that the people in there will start thinking that you're an actual interior fucking designer. It doesn't matter if you have on sweatpants and a t-shirt. But more than likely, you're not going to come in there looking like that. You're going to probably be dressed to the nines. Just to find a piece of something just for your house. They're going to pick it up. Why? Because you just was in the space with Kelly Wursler and you learned how to do little simple interior design stuff, and you bought that little stone or whatever you bought for $25 in her space, or bought more stuff while you was there. That's an all energetic thing. And you take that and you carry that with you. You go to a wine tasting event. Guaranteed you, when you drink wine, you're going to shake that wine, you're going to smell the wine before you put that wine to your mouth. Guaranteed you, when you go wine shopping, no matter if it's that motherfucking Food Lion, and you in that wine section looking for you some wine, you're going to really look for some wine. Like you sure shopping for $100 wine. Because that is just in you, because you've been in those spaces. And so therefore you're going to carry yourself like the spaces that you've been in. So therefore you know what's above you and what's below you. One thing I hated is to see a motherfucker pour wine in a cup. I still hate to see wine poured in a cup. I like wine poured in a motherfucking glass wine jar. I'm picky like that. I hate wine poured in a cup. And don't pour wine in a red cup either. I'm really going to get pissed off. These are little standard things that I have because I used to go to wine tasting events at 25 years old. That's why I'm the way that I am. Okay? That's why I'm the way that I am. Another thing to note. What does this have to do with people who used to be married? I'm going to tell you that. First thing first, I got to go run and do something really quick. For real. I got to go do something real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and play this music. I ain't got nothing for y'all to watch, though. All right, V314 Bad Bitch Craft Radio. Give me a minute, all right? Give me like 3 minutes. Alrighty. For my headphone users. Alright. I'm back. 1 second, y'all. It's an ugly ass be right back sign. So Why does this have to do? What does this have to do with people who? Let me go ahead and drop this photo. People who have relationships, right? Your caliber and your standards and all this kind of stuff. What does got to do with people with relationships? It got everything to do with relationships. It got everything to do with the kind of relationship that you choose. It got everything to do with it got everything to do with how you choose. Isn't that how they say it? How you choose? Yeah. Here's why. Number one, ain't nothing wrong. I'm gonna say ain't nothing wrong with having a standard of how you date. There's nothing wrong with having a standard of who you date. There is no such thing as your standard is too high. That is one of the biggest lies that you have been told. Okay? Now, here's why. Here's why I want to go back and say something. The reason why someone's standard being too high is because someone may look at someone and be like, well, you don't even have half of what you're saying you want somebody to have. Because that person is seeking to find whatever they're trying to find through someone else instead of finding it through themselves. You understand? That person is seeking, they're building their standards around someone else to say this is their standard, and it's not just a standard for themselves. That's the difference of standards. A standard that you have for yourself is what you have built for yourself. So, if you like to read, right, and you like to go to the library, or you love to go to bookstores, right? Let's use the word love, okay? You love to write. Shit, you love to go to the printers because you like the sound of the printer when you have to print out things. Everything that you love to do, just simple stuff. You might just love to go to the gamer spot. You may love to be outdoors, so you might like to go hiking or walking and stuff like that, right? These are the little standard of things that you like, right? Like I said, wine tasting event, all of these things. So therefore, when you get with somebody, you want them to share some of this with you. You want them to be an outdoors person. You want them to enjoy wine the way that you do. You know, sometimes everything is not going to be the same. I get it. You want them to have something in their life that they enjoy just as much as you enjoy. You want them to have some kind of goals and ambitions just as much as you have them, right? That becomes a standard. Believe it or not, that right there becomes a standard. So you seek that when you're with somebody. Time goes on and you get involved. What happens is the little things that you begin to compromise become the bigger things that become a problem. Okay? I need you to hear me. Write this down. The little things that you begin to compromise become the bigger things that they become bigger problems. Okay? They become bigger problems. And why does that happen? Because you compromise something about yourself that you love the most. And that is the fact that you need somebody who has ambitions and goals. Something as small as that. They don't have to love wine tasting events like you. They gotta at least have a book or something. See, that's another thing too. If you be like, damn, I at least need somebody who reads a book, or who would read a book with me, or who would go to the bookstore with me. If they can't even go to a bookstore with you, that's you compromising. That's already supposed to be a no, honestly. Okay. Another thing that's key, when you live your life to a certain standard, what standard do they live their life to? That's another key thing. What's the standard of how they live their life? Who's the standard and caliber of friends that they have in their lives? That plays a major role too. What family members do they seem to always associate with? That's a key role too. Who is the person they keep to their side the most? I'm telling you, all of these things play a part in standards. And I'm going to get a little bit deeper. Give me a second. I'm going to go deeper than that. And I'm going to tell you how this applies to your own life. This applies to you because you have to start looking at that for yourself. Okay? The standards you set for others are simply a reflection of the standards that you have for yourself. You see, one second. The standards you have for the others are the standards you have for yourself. See, if you sit here and you be like X, Y, and Z, and I don't fuck with people like this and that, they live their life like this and that. This is the same standard you're gonna have for the person that you're talking to. See, people who get shit about their standards. It's because those standards don't apply to their own life. Your standards must apply to your own life. Point blank, period. See, I remember the last relationship I had, the argument was, you don't have no friends, you don't have no friends, right? And think about me not having friends, and not so much that I don't have friends, right? It's just the fact of the lifestyle that I live and who I am and how I live. It wasn't easy for me to have them. And honestly, when you live a life of an artist and stuff, we are actually more leery about friendships anyway. Way more leery about friendships. Way more leery about the people that we keep around us or that we have around us. We're way more leery about it. And so therefore, that's another topic in itself. Also, that came out of nowhere. Also, I would also like to add this. People who live a very single life, a very single life, and very focused on themselves, focused on their body, focused on their goals, whatever it is that they're doing, that's living a very single, alone life. They always say, and this is very true, that those are the most intelligent people. That intelligent people don't have a whole bunch of friends in their world. Also, people who live like that require more, and we also have standards and we know ourselves. So you are a threat, and just by being alone, even if you have children, just by being alone and knowing yourself and your standards and saving your money and doing what you need to do for yourself and doing what makes you happy and stuff, that in itself is a standard. That already shows people that when they come in your presence, that you already have a standard. See, the thing is, when you're fulfilling yourself, it doesn't make you look lonely. See, there's a certain behavior that you take on when you're lonely. But when you are sure about yourself and you're single and you're living your best life and you're just alone, that's a different kind of energy. You have more control of who you allow in your space. You have more control of who's allowed in your space. You have more control over who is who gets into your world. You get what I'm saying? You build a world where, like, whoever gets to come close to you knows that it's something special to be a part of it because you don't let people in it. That in itself is a standard. You are the standard of who can come into your life and who can come into your world. And this is why when people look at certain people and they be like, your standards are too high, they're not having standards for themselves. Yes, things come with requirements, and there are requirements to have you. There are requirements to be with you. There's nothing wrong with being that way. But see, you can't keep this way if this is the way you live, but the people around you don't reflect it. The person you associate with the most don't reflect it. You can't be that way. You can't, no one's going to take it serious. You have to understand, right? Because this all ties back into the person in the relationship or the married person. Excuse me. You have to understand that you sit here, you get with somebody, right? Okay. And as you get to know them, as you get to talk to them, you're taking note, you're listening, you're having a good time with them, you're enjoying them, right? And it gets to a point, when you get to the point of communication with them, that's when things get a little convoluted. You be like, what the fuck? What happened? Why this person? Why they say it like that? Why they, you know what I'm saying? What are they talking about? This don't make no sense. Why they say it like, why they say, why can't they just answer the question? What's so hard? Why they can't just have a conversation that involves us to communicate about something that needs to be communicated about? See, don't go into the wounded savior complex. When you go into the wounded savior complex, what's going to begin to happen is you're going to start coddling. See, that's another thing. That's another thing about people who are alone. See, a lot of people try to make us feel like we're too tough, we're too mean, we're too hard. But how do you think we got this way? How do you think we got to the standards of living the way that we do? How do you think what do you think brought us here? If we didn't grow up fast, if we didn't get the wisdom of life fast, how would we have even got here? How we would have even got to the RSVP to meet that celebrity or be in those spaces? We wouldn't have picked up the books and look, what did we get up and pick up all those books for and learn and take notes and classes and all that stuff for? To still be silly? To still be silly? Huh? To still be silly? That's what I'm saying. Because no, we're not going to be silly. And depending on where we came from, we're really not going to be silly. We're really not going to clown around and joke, and we're not going to do that. That's how we got to be the way that we are. And the thing is, a lot of us that be single, we grown and sexy with it. We gonna want to communicate and say how we feel and get the things out that we need to get out. But we also know how to be nurturing and loving as well. Don't think that we don't. We really do. But there's some people where we be like, nah, you need to hear this. You need to toughen up. You need to listen. And that's a savior wounded. That's a wounded savior complex too. But when you're at a point in your life where you're an adult, when you're an adult, you ain't got time for people who can't communicate. You ain't got time for people who can't be honest. You ain't got time for people who ain't playing games. You ain't got time for people who don't got it together. See, that's all standards. But see, it's but the standard don't become a standard that you write down. It become what is because it's a part of who you are as the standard. Because you want better, you want more, you're elevating your life to something greater. And you have to push things out that's not matching that. That's what's going to happen. You're going to not have the tolerance or the time for those who cannot meet you there. Don't mean you can't have compassion and empathy. Sometimes we get out of empathy. Sometimes we get out of compassion too. Especially the more that we begin to grow in our life. When my cycle on, I don't get cramps. But what happens is my body be tired. My body be sensitive. And I don't like that. Because I had things I needed to get done. And I had to rest. Don't get me wrong. I could still lay down and get it done, but I didn't do none of it. I just kind of went into a study mode for a minute. And I said, no. I need to start taking supplements while I'm on my cycle. I need to find a good ass supplement to take while I'm on my cycle. So my blood can still flow and my energy can keep going while I'm on my cycle. This is something I told myself. I got tired of eating spicy sweet. I get tired of fucking busting down sodas and shit when I'm on my cycle. I have a taste for spicy sweet every time I'm on my cycle, and I hate that shit. I hate that feeling because I don't drink soda like that. I just don't. And so now I have to find a supplement to take while I'm on my cycle. And I had to go to a doctor to find it out either. I figured out for myself. And that's symbolic of what I need in my life with the spicy sweet shit too. Trust me, I know. And then on top of that, I like to have more energy. I'm ready to go back into my workout routine again. I'm ready to go and take my fucking shakes and all of that stuff again. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get my body moving again. I'm ready for my stomach to go down again. You see, it's all of these things are part of how like life wants to be. You know why? When you're striving for something, when you're aiming for something, when you're pushing yourself to go to school and work and do all that stuff, you have to fuel yourself with more energy. You have to eat for more energy. You have to eat with intentions. Take supplements and vitamins and stuff with intentions to have more energy to do what it is that you need to do. I decided to go ahead and go dread. That's going to definitely happen. I'm about to go straight dread. And I'm going to do it my way when I get it done. Do my undercut, whatever I do in my shit, make my shit look nice and clean and fly. And it is what it is. Start my hair journey. Write down the day. Start my hair journey. And leave it that way. Another thing to note. It is nothing wrong if you really begin in your life to realize that you got to go higher. You know why you go higher? Because you're going to do things to get yourself there. Okay? This is the mind of a successful person. You're going to do things to get yourself there. When you set your standards higher of what kind of partner you want in your life or that you need in your life, and what kind of friendships you need in your life, you set yourself up higher. This is all a part of the frustration of talking to somebody and them not having the capacity to just communicate what they feel, just to communicate or know how to just figure out what kind of date to take you on. It's all of these different things begin to accumulate because it's a part of your mind of success. Because you know, if somebody has a mind of success, they're going to know where to go. They're going to know where to take you and what to do. They're going to know what how do I say this? They're going to know how to pay attention to you enough to do the things that you like, to know what you like. Even if you're in the house, they can do things that you like. That's the amount of success. You gotta understand, a lot of y'all were going into spaces with losers trying to explain the standards that you have so they could talk you out of your standards because they don't have that mind of success like you. This is what y'all was doing the whole time. And this is what people was doing on national TV as well. Y'all sit here and y'all clown Steve Harvey for being divorced Not 3, but 4 times now. Because when are y'all going to see that these fucking people that are married are not relationship gurus? They're not it. When are y'all going to see the true relationship guru is the motherfucker that's been single the longest before they decide to get married, if they even get married? That's the relationship guru. Talk to us. Talk to us really why we don't get married, even if we had children. Ask us the wisdom of communication. Because y'all don't understand the communication that's not opening your goddamn mouth to communicate. Communication is through body language. Communication is through your energy and your aura when you're walking around that house. Communication is in the look in your eye. It ain't just what you motherfucking talk about and sit down in counseling. How are y'all communicating to each other through your body language in that house? Y'all should be able to complete each other's sentences. Y'all should know when one is hungry. Y'all should know when one is going through something and telling them to go spend time with themselves or whatever. Y'all should communicate like that on that level first before it gets to all the talking. Talk to us. Talk to the single people. It first start with the communication of the body. Then it gets into the bedroom and all. Y'all don't talk to us single people who never been fucking married. Talk to us. Why? Actually, why you never got married? And really want the answer from us. If you're ready to hear the answer. We the intelligent people. I'm not going down no aisle with you because I got kids with you. I'm not marrying you. I'm not saying no vows with you because we've been together for a long time. I'm not doing that. I got to feel that this is something that I want to do. And you're not going to manipulate me into dragging me down the motherfucking aisle that you get me married and I want to be into it. No, because eventually I'm going to want to get the fuck out of it. Some of us have unbridled freedom. That was one of my favorite words I heard somebody say to describe somebody else. And I believe that's me. Unbridled freedom. I don't belong to nobody, but who I say I belong to. It ain't my time for that. And it may never be. It may never be. Mm-hmm. I'm not a know-it-all. I can't help the knowledge that I know, but I'm not a know-it-all. I can't help what I know. Okay? I can't help what I know, but I'm not a know-it-all. You know, I come to see something else interesting as well. I'm gonna jump my hair today too. I come to see that It's equivalent to being in the city, especially New York City. You find people in the city, we wear a lot of black, right? We wear all black. And you're probably wondering, why is it that we wear so much black? Well, black is a very powerful color, number one. Actually, black is one of the best things to wear when you go to a job interview. Black, a certain tone of blue, like a deep blue, um, uh, certain colors symbolize your personality when you go into an interview. But those of us that see rich people who drive the Lamborghinis, the Maseratis, the Ferraris, oh boy, the Ferraris, and the Maybachs and all these things that we see in these fancy cars, what we find is they wear all black. These people in the city that go to these big, huge, high-rise buildings, and you can see that how fancy and expensive their suits and by the quality of the clothes, they wear all black. And they would tell you black is a powerful color. This sits the same thing as a standard in your life with people. I'm the type, you be with me, your style gonna change, because that's what comes with being with me. Trust me. She be asking me how to put this together. I wish you was here with me while I was shopping, because I just have an eye for just doing that. I always have. A lot of things is going to change in your life being with someone like me, and I'm aware of that. And trust me, a lot of these people who walk around here single with a certain standard, they're aware of that too. Why? Why do these people in these relationships that got all this relationship advice to give you, why do we see their relationship fall to the goddamn scene? Why do we see this happen so fucking much? Because they're not really putting the work in while they're in that relationship. That's why they get divorced. They're not being honest with themselves. I can go on and on. Think about all the married people that you know, like you really know, like you really know what's going on. Tell yourself the truth about that marriage. All my siblings are married except for me and my sister. My sister, that bitch, 2 jobs. She was looking for a house. The motherfucker was 1 million. She was talking to her father about it. And then also, you know, she always got some shit. She just gave me some stuff for my kitchen that I needed, everything I needed. Quality ass wine glasses, bitch. Not just one, a whole box of them bitches. I'm about to get me a bar now. I'm about to set me a little bar in the kitchen. That's me and my sister. Living our best life. All you have is yourself and everything that you wanted to accomplish since you were a kid. All the books that you have read and accumulated, and books that you go back to. Anytime you read a book, if it's that good, you're going to go back to it. And there are books that become our Bibles. Anybody who has a book, they'll be like, this book right here is my Bible right here, and then this is my go-to book. We all have our favorite books. And it all come in vain. Before all these people came into our lives and made us feel what we feel, and these children came, if they came, and all this kind of stuff into our world, before all of this stuff came into our world, what did we have? You have to remember that. And you go out there and you accomplish that. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. These people that have a bunch of children, these people who are focused on relationships and marriages, they don't have nothing that they was going for that really ate their soul, because you always go back to it. I had a point in my life where I was focused around the relationship I was in at the time and focused around this and that. And guess who came into my life? Someone who was like, have you done art today? You know how long it was since I heard that fucking word? I said, no, I haven't done any art. The universe is going to pull you back to what you're supposed to be. You have a relationship, it goes well, you like it, it's fun, you accept it. You might even compromise and not even realize it. But the universe is going to pull you back into who you are, because some shit's going to go down between you and that person that's going to bring you back to who you are. Because what you are supposed to be accomplishing as a person, place, or a thing, what you got going on in your life is that you are on a mission. That's what you got going on in your life. And everything else that everybody else got going on don't got nothing to do with you. That's the reality. That's the whole reality of it all. You also have to understand another thing. And this is very key, what I'm telling you. You have the capacity to self-reflect. So therefore, you know when someone comes into your world, why they're there. You know why someone is in your face. You know what that person wants. Sometimes you may have to ask them, what the fuck do you want? Because you're in my face. You have the capacity of seeing other successful people as well. You have the capacity to attract who it is that you truly like around you. You know how to go to people. You know how to control the energy, and you go to people because you know what you're going to. And if you don't like what you approach, you know what you have to change. Your world is not the same as people who's just every day living in it and just think that they're just meeting people by just meeting people. That just think that they're experiencing things in their life by just experiencing them without going into the nuts and crannies of why they're experiencing it. I understand now when I was younger with the older people, and I would tell them what I was going through, and they'd be like, the problem is not them, the problem is you. Nobody's the problem, you're the problem. And I used to then understand that. Why am I the problem? No, you're the problem. Because you are the problem. Because you are the universe. And therefore, whatever reflects back to you is a reflection of you. It doesn't matter if you have coworkers that you communicate with on a daily basis. That's a reflection of you. You're a thinker. You're an observer. You're an analyzer. You're an artist. Being an artist is not just picking up something and sketching and coloring in some shit. No, being an artist is a lifestyle. To be a designer is a lifestyle. You're looking at the shape and the form of how things look. You're looking at how this looks with this, and what color matches with this, and how does this go with this. That's what you do. You're looking at wait a minute, how can I design this in my house like this? How can I color this in the house like this? Today, I'm about to go to work and I'm about to sketch out my living room. Yes, you heard me. I'm about to go to work and I'm about to sketch out my living room, bring my interior design book with me, and begin to look at the way my living room is laid out. And that's a lesson interior. That's an interior design book. That's a school. That's what I'm going to do. It's all of these things that's become a part of your life. And trust me, you'll be happy that you can do it. When you live it alone, when you're single, you'll be happy that you can get up and you can do these things undistracted. You'll be happy to know that you don't have to sit in the house and argue with nobody. Okay? Trust me when I tell you, you'll be so happy to know that you can do that. You'll be happy to accomplish things day by day by day by day. You'll be happy to do that shit. You'll be happy to be like, damn, that's one little thing I did. That's one suitcase I cleaned out. That's one section of the house I organized. Damn, I finally pulled out this damn box to put up this damn chair. Okay, finally. Progress, something. And you be proud to do that shit. And then it becomes routine slowly but surely, 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day. Then it becomes your whole part of hours of your day that you do it. And slowly you begin to accomplish things for yourself. Because as you begin to be who you are, what happens is you are now pulling people into your world. See how it goes? It turns into you being like, oh, okay, this is me. This is my life. This is who I am. This is how I navigate. This is my personality, right? This is what happens. And so as you do that, you're energetically grabbing that frequency of who you want into your world. And that's beautiful. I think that's a beautiful thing. 1 second. One second. And here's the thing that is to me so beautiful about what I'm telling you right now, right? What's so beautiful about what I'm sharing with you is that in life, right? Oh no. In life, my scalp is dry. In this life, which can be very beautiful, even though I was watching that whole this war thing that's going on, but it didn't really affect me. But what's beautiful about this life is that do I got any more gel left? I doubt it. You have the choice and the power to make life what you want to make it for yourself. And I'm going to have to say this. I'm only talking to you who's my age, millennial, older, and you did it the right way. Okay? For those of you who stuck in a relationship, for those of you who in an abusive relationship, for those of you who at a point in your life where you gave up, I can't help you. I can't help you. You know, maybe go to therapy or go to a crisis counselor, because I'm not here. I don't have it in me to talk to you people like that. All right? I just don't. And I'm just happy to have made the choices I had to have the life that I have. And I realize that I'm more hard on myself than I need to be, because there's people doing way a lot worse, just like you people I just mentioned earlier. And the reason why I'm the way that I am is because the moment I said to myself, I'm not letting another human being get in the way of my life, was the moment I did not let another human being get in the way of my life. Okay, it's this. Okay, it's this fabric doing this to my skin. That's not cool. So the moment that I had told myself that was the moment that I did not allow that to be a case in my life anymore. Okay? I didn't allow that to be something to be of domination in my life. Okay? But I had did my own awakening on that. But see, what's up? Also, I have lived my life to myself for some time, for most of my life. I may have had a bunch of people around me, but I have lived my life with myself for most of the time in my life. That's another major thing about me. I didn't have a life of surrounding myself with people to that capacity, not relationship wise. I didn't live life like that. So a lot of us who are living a lonely life, again, we have already done it. Does that make sense? We have already been the ones to already make the choices in our lives to be like, I ain't dealing with this. Where's my peppermint soap? We was just like, this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? We were so quicker to walk away from what did not serve us with people, what did not serve us in our lives. We were so quick to walk away from that shit. You understand what I'm saying to you? I'm laughing. I'm laughing so loud because I'm just thinking about, the kind of people I had in my life when they were like, at that time of your life, you was supposed to be the fuck alone. You weren't supposed to be in no relationship. You wasn't supposed to be not doing nothing but be alone. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I was supposed to be alone. I ain't need to be with nobody. And also, here's another aspect that a lot of people don't talk about either. And it's the aspect of a lot of us who do live our lives like that, we do have the blessing of having what you call mentors around us, or people who take us in and give us the wisdom to encourage us to live our lives for ourselves. We have people around us who are quick to tell us, hey, nah, bro, don't do that. Wait, don't do that. Don't have kids. Don't do this. And this is why we're not the people with the 5, 6, 8 fucking kids. You see what I'm saying? If we made our mistakes and went past 2 children, or We don't go past 3. That's one thing I noticed about intelligent people. They don't go past 3 kids. 3 kids is a lot of people, a lot of kids for even an intelligent person. We don't go past that. And honestly, the real successful ones don't go past 1 child. And we believe in abortion too. We go to the chop shop. We don't give a fuck. That's another thing. So one thing that also stands out is that you need to know that going back to this whole once, married people shit. You got a lot of people who are married and they're not living their life at all. They're not living the life that they want to live at all. Okay? You can, like, that married person will never leave their relationship or marriage to focus on what they really love to do for themselves. They rather try to do that while being married or not doing it at all just to keep a marriage. That's crazy. But that's how they live. To me, that's crazy. But that's how they live. But you don't live that way. You don't think that way. Because you're like, who the fuck are you? I'm serious. You begin to start looking at things like that, and people like, you be like, you were a stranger that became a part of my life, that allowed a part of my life. And now we have what's children together. This is how you think. I'm trying to tell you, this is how we really think. I know this is what we think. You are a stranger that I allowed into my life, that I allowed myself to say that I love, that I chose to say that I love. You are someone who I choose to be patient with and have these feelings for. I'm not going to sit here and compromise a life so I can look at the end of it and be full of regret of what I didn't do for myself. That's crazy. That's not smart. But we know a lot of other aspects play into that. We don't have to get into the SW, but I'm going to have to tell you as myself that SW don't work on a woman who truly knows what she wants to do for herself and who she is. It ain't going to work. She gonna wake up. She gonna snap out of it. She gonna say, She's gonna remember who she is. Shit, he's gonna remember who he is. He's gonna do it regardless. She's not going to be held down. No way, no motherfucking how. By anybody. And I mean by anybody. See, that's the mentality that you develop when you are really like, hold on, what am I aiming for here? What am I going for here? What am I focused on over here? What have I been focused on? What have I been focused on achieving and accomplishing? What is it? And so when you do that kind of mentality, what begins to happen is, right? What begins to happen is you begin to become stronger in your mind of how you accomplish things and how things get done for you. What you develop in your mind is, wait a minute. Hold on. I got to get this done. Because if I'm ever 80 years old I don't want to be one of them 80-year-olds inside of them books about the things I wish I did. I don't want to be them. I want to be 80 years old. I want to make it to 80 or past 80 and be like, all the things I'm proud that I've accomplished, all the choices that I've made, that I'm happy that I made them. The things that happened in my life that I thought was a dead end before I realized that it was a goddamn a way, a new door opening. Okay? That's the 80-year-old that I want to be. I'm sure that's who you want to be too. That's how we think as successful people. That's how we think as people who are setting goals and accomplishing shit for our lives. That's how we think. We don't limit ourselves for another person. We do what we got to do to get the obstacles out the way. That's what we do. We don't lean on another person to use them for our benefit. We lean on another person to utilize them for our accomplishments or what we want to accomplish. That's what we do. But we don't use them. We don't misuse them. Because people who have the capacity to self-reflect understand how energy works. And that energy that you use and to use somebody, whatever the case may be, and however you're trying to misuse them, can be of your detriment energetically. I thought I had more gel than this. What the fuck? I feel like people who, all of y'all that have y'all standards, right? All of you who sit around and it's not easy, right? We're gonna have to soften the conversation a bit. It's not easy. You finding yourself getting highly disappointed. You thought that you had one that was good for you. It ain't easy. And what's happening is what it's calling you to do is calling you to go higher. Go higher and focus on whatever it is that you've been focused on. That's what it's calling for you to do. I'm so serious. It's calling for you to say, okay, you know what? What do I need to work on for myself to get to this goal over here? What more practicing do I need to do to get this goal over here? What craft do I need to hone into to get this goal over here? That's what happens. I'm telling you, that's exactly what begins to happen to you. And when you begin to realize that, that's when you begin to realize and see the shift that begins to happen in your life and in your world. Okay? You have to also look at a big picture. Oh, what the hell is that? Am I here? You have to also begin to look at a bigger picture. That look like that. Like what was in my head? What the Your love is for a person, place, or a thing. I'm sorry, it's for places and things. That's what your love is for. Your love is for places and things. This connection, these relationships that you've been trying to build, it may not be the time for that in your life. I'm being for real. Energetically, it may not match the way that you believe that it does energetically. And so you have to go higher. You have to go higher. Another thing to note, I need to shave under my head. I need that much. Another major thing to note is this. You may be lowering yourself by the people you choose to associate with more than you realize that you are. For real. You really may be lowering yourself. You know, I'm older now. I'm getting, and I laugh at these relationship shows, right? Like I really laugh at them. And I don't listen to them, but I think about them and I laugh and I think about all the people who were in these relationships and how they fell apart and I laugh. I think about that divestor out there that I know is going through a divorce. Her husband doesn't want to be with her ass no more. And I laugh, right? And I just, we can go into it to Derek Jackson. It goes on and on and on, right? And I just laugh, laugh, laugh. And what's so funny is to why I'm laughing so much is because so many people listen to these people, right? Took in their advice and stuff. What's that? So many people really believed in what these people were saying. And they all start with what's called simping, all of them. There's always some simping shit going on. There's always some oh, you're beautiful and this and that, and don't let nobody tell you otherwise. You're beautiful, you this shit, you that bitch, you this and that. They got their shades on, they got the whole shebang going on, my nigga, like everything, right? And this is what these people do. This is their steez. This is how they do things. Well, what begins to happen is you find out they were cheating and they had another relationship, and the person that they were with ran and married them just to marry them over somebody else. You find out, talking about Derek Jackson here, you find out that they were really in love with somebody who was a whole ass doctor, but they married this bitch over here. Talking about Derek Jackson. You find out all this shit. One getting called the bitch and getting beat up in the background, don't remember their names. And then you have
yourself, you might even tell yourself, oh, that's why you shouldn't put your relationships online. Oh, it's bad luck to put your relationships online. You probably tell yourself, people put bad juju. Somebody put something on their relationship. No, 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 no. That ain't it. What you did is you had somebody talking and they ain't have their shit figured out. You had somebody talking because subconsciously they was hoping that the true love that they were seeking was going to find them being who they are, talking about what they was talking about to have what they was going to have. That's what you had. So much that the happy ending happened for them, right? They got married. Isn't that what you want to see? Isn't that the story you want to see about the person who's trying to tell you how to have a relationship that has no relationship? Oh, they're getting married. Yay. That's a great thing, right? But what you all missed is that you did not know this person personally. What you all missed is this person, you did not ask the deeper questions to that person to really know who the fuck they were and who they are. You didn't even ask them. You know what I'm saying? You got love bomb. Even if they try to make it seem serious, you got love bomb. Let me tell you a secret. People who live their life a certain way, we don't got time to talk to people who not. We don't care to talk to them. I only care to talk to people who are already here, right here at this level. I only care to talk to people who are living it. Only care. You made these people desirable. You made these people feel like they were worthy more than the person who was single, who's focused on themselves and talking at that level of being focused on yourself. As if we were the lonely, bitter ones. Y'all did that to yourselves. Y'all fell into the fantasy. Y'all the ones who made it the standard that that's the person to listen to. And what's more funny about it to me is that a lot of y'all are the ones who I've come to notice are the ones so quick to say who meets the standards of what. Okay? Now, down, Bella. Bella, no. Bella! No. Get off my couch. Fuck off my couch. Or you gonna be in your damn room. Stop scratching my couch. You got a whole ass scratcher back there. But here's the thing about people who are single and living our best lives. Those that come up to our life level are the only ones that get to know who we are on a closer level. Okay? Those who get to our level get close to us. Those who be in the spaces that we in maybe get a chance to get close to us. Not easy to get to know us. It's not easy to talk to us. It's not easy to have access to her or to us at all. See, I was thinking about how, like, damn, I didn't realize I was matching. How, like, there's this thing. There's this thing with life, right? Almost what y'all call culty, right? You live your happy, single, child-free life, or you're a mother like myself. You don't have your children. Your oldest is gone. You don't have your younger children. Or you don't have children at all, basically, right? It's always that married person with all them damn kids. It's either married person, a person with all married person with a bunch of kids, or married or no unmarried with a bunch of kids, or whatever. Most of the time they're married. They're always trying to pull you into their world as if their world is a great world, and as if their world is going to solve what's going on in your world of being single. Have you ever noticed that? It's like they always, well, you don't know the baby. Oh, you're gonna get you a boyfriend. Oh, you're married. They want you to be in that world with them because they feel like that's going to be your answer. But that's not what it is, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all what it is. They want you to be relatable to them. They want to have those boring ass conversations because, see, here's the thing about people like us. We don't care to talk about shit like that. We don't talk about our children if we have them, because why am I talking to you about my children? You ain't my family, right? We only care to talk about our children's accomplishments because we feel like that's what the fuck is. We think that that's what's supposed to fucking matter, right? We only discuss our knowledge and books and information. That's who we are. That's who we are. And what happens is they can't stand the reality. They can't fathom the reality because some of them once had it low key. They can't fathom the reality that you are sitting there by yourself, enjoying yourself and enjoying your life, and you're not bored and you're not lonely. And you're not feeling no type of way about not having children or not having your children. They cannot fathom that, y'all. That's what it is. You'll find that the married people will barely ever talk to you at your job because there's nothing relatable. Who you are is not even relatable. If you're like me, you're probably reading a book, you're probably writing, you're probably entertaining, you're probably doing something else while you're having your lunch. You probably eat a burger with a knife and a fucking fork like me. That's what it is. There's a reason your intuition as that single person, accomplished person, you don't talk to people. Probably keep work conversation at work conversation. You don't get personal with people. Probably listen to their shit, but you don't get personal with yourself. You're not moved about people asking you about if you married or not. You don't give a fuck if anybody asks you. Because you don't give a fuck about it. You'll even say, I don't give a fuck about that. Ask them to tell you why you should give a fuck about it. Then you ain't gonna have no full, honest answer that makes sense. I guarantee you the answer ain't gonna ever make sense to you. And repeat what they say back to you and watch. You're gonna be offending motherfuckers by just being you. Isn't it so sad? The heartache and tears it takes to be like, damn, my life not where it's at or where I want it to be. To get up and decide to make your life where you want it to be. Just hear me out. So you pick up the books, you take the classes, you move out, you go out there, you accomplish, you set a goal, you save up for something, I don't fucking know, for a better house or something, whatever, to go to fucking another country, whatever you do, and you accomplishing on a daily fucking basis. And you're sitting here and you're proud of yourself for all of these accomplishments, and you go outside in this world, this work world or whatever, world period, and you cross paths with people, and then the first thing they want to know if you're married and children and this and that and this and that and this and that, and you just be like, damn, can we talk about interior designing? Can we talk about events and social events we've been to together? If you're from New York City, it's very natural to even talk about the celebrities that you've met before, because that's very natural in the city. That's a conversation we have. We're like, who you met before? What celebrity have you met? Have you seen such and such? Oh yeah, they be on such and such block or such and such block. That's a part of our lifestyle in New York City, especially depending on what borough you're in, you know, what location you're in, right? So you want to have these kind of sort of conversations, right? But you can't, because this is the bullshit that these people want to talk about. And you have to say to yourself, how are you happy? If that's all you can talk about. If that's all you can talk about, how the fuck are you a happy person? Okay? Right? Tell me I'm wrong for feeling that way. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong for feeling that way. But understand that these type of people, they exist because they have been given the standard in this world by other people as if their life is the guru of what our lives should be. And because of this is why they walk around here thinking they know it all. This is why they walk around here being as annoying as they are. And then they get broken down. And they get broken down the worst way, don't they, y'all? Don't these married motherfuckers get broken down in the most embarrassing goddamn way? It be public when they get divorced. It just be humiliating. And another thing that married people try to do, they try to make something the reason why you never got married. They gotta make it, oh, you were embarrassed because this happened to you, and oh, this and that happened to you. They have to make something wrong with your life for being single. Because deep inside, married people know that they are a fucking lie. That's why they have to keep telling you that who they with, they love so much, or that they love them. That's why married people have to keep up with the books so they can be able to talk to you and stuff like that, to make it seem like they know what they talk about when they talk about attachment, avoiding attachment, this, that, and the third. This is why they do this shit. But you really want to know the truth about relationships, connections, and love? You're going to have to get it from people like me. You know why? Because the only love that we know is self motherfucking love. And we know that that love is no other kind of love. We know that if you want love, you have to first give it to yourself. We know that. We know that. And see, these married people, they're never going to say that because they don't fathom, they don't have the capacity to know what that is without somebody being attached at their hip. They don't have the capacity to do that. And that's why they get the emotional breakdown the way that they do, because they are forced to face themselves and most of all their lies and their bullshit. And that's why they go through what they go through. They have no self-identification. They have no sense of self, but you do. So there's a bullying tactic that they do. How you gonna listen to somebody that this, that, and the third? You don't gotta listen to nobody, and you can listen to whoever the fuck you want to listen to, right? If you want to be technical, you can listen to whoever you want to listen to. It reminds me of a situation. Oh my gosh, I painted my nails so crazy. I'm gonna let them dry. It reminds me of a situation, and I'm gonna do another layer of when I had someone who had so much to say about my blog, what I was writing, and this, that, and the third, right? And I remember how they mentioned how they had 2 kids at 16, and I remember how they was doing all this. They was being extra as fuck. And what I come to see is, how the fuck somebody like that going to understand anything about occult codes and constructs, metaphysical, esoteric information, spirituality? And because there was a point she did mention who she was with and him and this, that, and the third, because that always happens. Trust me, it's always going to happen. These people don't have an identity outside of themselves. They don't. They don't have an identity outside of themselves. They don't know what selfishness is. They don't realize that the person next to them has been coddling them. And then these married people go out into the world of work, and you see how they act and how they talk and how they behave, because they think that this behavior is okay because that motherfucker at that house been coddling them to believe that this behavior is okay. And this is why when you get involved with someone who's married or who has been divorced or whatever, and you be like, I thought you would have it all figured out. I ain't never been married. And there's your answer. You do have it all figured out because you've never been married. You spent most of your adult life as a single motherfucker. You spent the most of your adult life, and you're still spending your adult life until you decide not to to focus on your goals and your ambitions and what you want to accomplish for yourself. That's what you've been doing with your adult life. You've been taking your adult life and checking off the boxes, crossing out shit, dotting your T's and crossing your I's. You've been taking your adult life and you said, you know what? I'm about to take this shit big. I'm not letting this stuff sit in the closet no more. I'm not letting this shit sit down, picking all this stuff back up, and I'm getting back to work. I'm getting back to the things I love to do. I'm focusing on that. I'm putting that on my routine. I'm reading James Clear book, The Atomic Habits, and how to develop them and how to not identify with things so you can detach yourself from these things. What do I no longer want to identify with? And you make a mantra with yourself every day so that you don't identify with these things. Utilize ChatGPT to your advantage to help you with your life. Because ChatGPT can get your fucking life. Trust me when I tell you. Ha! Did it drop? ChatGPT will help you get your life, baby. And it's all of these different things. You don't feel no type of way. You don't go into no explanation with a motherfucker. You don't feel no way. Are you married? Nope. Hell no. Somebody asked me if I was married and I cracked up. I laughed so damn hard. I said, damn, I ain't mean to laugh that damn hard. And she said, I get it, girl. I get it. She said, you got your ways, don't you? She said, yeah, me too. Capricorn at that. She said, me too. She said, you said, she laughed. She said, she laughed again. She said, you said that like, girl, bye. Yeah. See, you need people like that to understand shit like that. You don't need motherfuckers, bitch, with 8, 10 goddamn kids asking you if you gonna have more and you want to say the most. You want to ask that bitch how long she had that motherfucking problem. Because that's what you really want to say. Bitch, how long you had that problem? 8 kids, bitch. Because please don't talk to me no more because you was a dumb bitch. And the old Pisces lady, you know they be knowing. She jumped in that conversation real quick. Because she felt it. I'm about to say some shit to her. She knew I ain't give a damn about no kids. Okay? And I damn sure wasn't trying to talk to her goofy ass. Because, bitch, that's not a flex. Another young married bitch. I had my kids very young. Bitch, why? I don't want to talk to you about that. Bitch, that's not a flex. I had mine old, and they lucky to be here. Sometimes you feel like, they make you feel like you want to talk a little reckless. Don't they? Don't they make you feel like you just want to get just a little reckless with your mouth? Because that's just ridiculous, bro. Really, shorty, 8 kids? Why? Don't you want to ask a bitch like that? Why? Isn't that the first question you want to ask? Like, why? Why? All the places you can travel in the world, all the fun things that you can do, all the money that it takes for a kid to go to school and have their goals accomplished. You know why we don't do? Because we understand we want the best life for whatever we bring into this world. We have a different mentality. We want the best for them. We want them to have the best and be the best. We want them to be better than what we are. We want them to choose better than what we did. So we can handle doing that with 3. That's a good 6 and 5 years apart. We can do that. We have the time and space to do that. Because we ain't out here seeking love from someone else. And some of us may still have a little bit of that hang up where we want affection, a friend, and this and that before we really start to wholeheartedly give ourselves that love before we realize I don't need nobody but myself, but I do, but it doesn't hurt to have friends and stuff, but these friends have to match who I am and they have to match my lifestyle. And we're okay with that. This is all the stuff that's a key to everything. All of this. I want you to, first of all, no matter how much you want to take it personal, don't take it personal with these people, bro. Okay? Don't take it personal with these people. All right? These people really don't know nothing else but what they know. Okay? That girl that was married young, she didn't even look older than 20 years old. I'm sure she was, but she didn't look it. Happy to be married and children and shit. I end up telling her I ain't got no fucking kids. I think I told her I had one. No, I told her I had one kid. She's like, you gonna have more? I said, no. Her expression was like, oh shit. You gotta understand that. That's all that they know. And because that's all that they know, what's happening is your world is way different than you think. That's the beauty of people. They show you how much your world is different. They show you how much you don't deal. Like, they show you the choices that you made in your life that you know were smart. And you know you would have made even smarter choices had you listened to yourself. They show you the world around you of people who have this very culty mindset of how they feel people should be in life. And so it's a reminder to always let you realize, like, okay, this is how these people in the world are, and not to let them get to you. Okay, this is easy. That's what it is. I'm dead ass. I'm dead ass. That's exactly what this experience is all about. It's like you're gonna realize, like, oh, these are the kind of people that was around me. These are the kind of people that tried to tell me this, that, and that about how life should be in my world. These are the kind of people that are the problem of the world. And then you go online and then you see your infamous relationship guru, act like a lady and think like a man. And this motherfucker done had how many marriages? And then you have broads sitting there literally reading and believing in what this fucking person has to say. Okay, this pops out. Okay. Believes in what that person has to say. You have someone sitting there looking at this person as the end all be all of answers for your relationship life. And then this motherfucker on TV crying, talking about Steve Harvey, on TV crying, about to get another divorce. Boom, divorce number 4. Nigga done got shot 4 times, like my cousin. Nigga done got shot 4 times. 4. Okay? And what happened? What happened? I'm going to tell you what happened, y'all. What happened is everybody is so guilty of making these people in these relationships feel, or these marriages feel, like they really had all the answers for us in our relationship. Everybody is guilty because they allowed these type of people to be the ones to tell you, why you ain't happy, because you ain't got one of these, and that's called one of these is marriages. See, that's what happened. And then when these people lives get exposed, y'all want to ask what happened. What you mean what happened? I just told you what happened. These people in these marriages are not truly people who know how to self-reflect. These people we've been together since we was 12. They don't have no answers about no goddamn relationship. Y'all looked at them for answers. Because y'all felt some type of way about your life, and you looked at them as if what they had was the answer to your life. So they reflected back what you said, what you thought. You have the answers. But the answer is always one thing. You have to be the love that you want for yourself. You have to first very much love yourself. You have to find ways to give love to yourself. It's that person in the relationship and their partner's getting real fat. And they like, listen, you're getting a little fat. You're going to have to lose some weight now. You're getting too big. Are you all right? Everything good? Want to talk about it? Is it because your mama died? Is it because you lost your job? What's going on? You're getting fat. Something going on. And the partner letting them know you're getting fat. Gotta lose that weight. And then eventually, divorce happens. The relationship falls apart. Eventually, somebody's cheating, getting sex somewhere else because they're not attracted to them no more. That is equivalent to the same thing with your life. This person's looking at somebody else's body and telling them what they need to do and what they need to fix, but they're not looking at themselves. They're looking at that person saying you getting fat, this, that, and the third, what's going on? But I guarantee you look at their body, they don't look no better. See, I was with somebody who worked out, tight body, abs, everything. So if I look like I was losing myself, I wasn't, then they'd step in like, what's going on? But the problem was they didn't like when I worked out. They ain't like when I hit that floor and I was doing squats and push-ups and shit. They ain't like that shit. See what happens? See, that's the downfall too, because you got people, you know, you getting big, you getting fat, this, that, and the third. But it ain't really about that. It's really about their image. So it's all these different things. When you focused on yourself and you love yourself, you ain't focused like that on what the next person is doing. Because let's say, first of all, people who live a certain type of lifestyle. No, I have to say this. No. Because I notice, yeah. Let's say you with somebody and you notice that they're gaining weight. You might just bring it to their attention. You might. Or you might not. I'm gonna be very honest with you about a person who focuses on themselves. You might bring it to their attention that they're gaining weight, or you might not bring it to their attention that they're gaining weight. It's either or. You may begin to recognize that they're gaining the weight, but then begin to say, "Are you all right?" Right? That's it. You're gonna be like, "Are you all right? You good? I noticed you're gaining weight. What's up? What you been eating? Da 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 da. You good? You getting depressed?" And if that person don't want to talk about it, you're not gonna worry about it. When they're ready to talk, they'll talk to me. That's your mentality. That's your mentality. I gotta go. You don't coddle people. You don't. You gotta check that. You don't. I mean, I'm trying to tell you. That's why nobody wants to deal with the single person like that, because that's what comes with it. And there's a fear with the person who's the single person, because we're so quick to let shit go. We're quick to cut shit off too. We don't got time for that. You don't got time for that. See, why is it? Because I'm going to give you the answer that y'all all been looking for. Why is it that? Because this is the answer to this one chick who asked this question on Facebook years ago. And the question that she had was, why is it that I'm single and I have it all together and I have this and that, but he goes and he chooses the chick in the projects with the kids that's on Section 8 and welfare? You know why people choose that, whatever the gender, why they choose to still associate with people like that and be around that? Because those people will coddle them. Those people don't have goals and ambitions. What, they a nurse? What, they going to school to be a nurse? I don't know, work for a pharmacy? What they going to school for? Most of the time it's a nurse. You can be a mediocre nurse. You don't have to, just because you're going to be a nurse, I mean, you become an RN and all that shit. And if she a nurse, she definitely somebody who coddles some fucking body. Right? Why they choose people like that? Because somebody like that ain't gonna leave. They gonna claim they gonna leave, but they really ain't gonna go nowhere. They stuck with them kids. They stuck with needing help. They stuck because whoever the fathers are probably ain't providing, if at all. Or even if they care, that they should know who the father is. Like, there's a reason that people stick with people like this. because they know they're not going to go nowhere. But as somebody who lives a very single, successful type of lifestyle, you bring a fear out of people because, especially if you're not lonely. See, that's the difference. If you're alone versus being lonely. But when you're alone and you're achieving what you need to achieve, and you have somebody in your life and you're cool and your friends and this, that, and the third, and this person come into your world, there's something that they know that you will leave. And whatever comforts that they get from you will go away right along with them leaving. That's how it goes. You know why? Because you don't have time. You know why? Because your mentality says, you were a stranger that came into my world, that I allowed into my world, that I allowed to feel for. You are the stranger that came into my world, that I allow myself to say that I feel these feelings for you. You are that stranger that I did that with. That's why. That's why. And because of that mentality, it makes it easier to separate the mind and the heart. No matter how it's not easy, but we'll get over it because we understand we chose to feel how we felt. And with an intelligent mind, you begin to dig intellectually into who you are and not to who they are. You face who they are. What kind of person is this? What do I see? What have they shown me? Because you begin to fall deep into yourself. You begin to fall in love with yourself. You begin to learn and get to know yourself. What do I need to do better? How can I live better than this? What do I need to start cooking for myself? What can I do to make my life better than what it is? Where can I start? When do I start? What's the best books for me to read right now? What book should I start reading and actually taking notes on? What do I need to focus on for myself? This is the mentality that you begin to develop. You don't look at that other person for the answers to your life. You don't. You don't look at nobody else to the answers to your life. You don't. You don't even, let me tell you something. Let me tell you how deep it is, y'all. You will sit down in the mirror and look at yourself and say, what do I got to do to change? You will look down in that mirror at yourself and say, what do I want my body to look like? How beautiful do I want to be? How do I want to start wearing my makeup? And you'll take these things and you'll start hanging them in your bathroom fucking wall, your bedroom door. You'll start putting the image around you that you want for yourself. And you'll start slowly building that world wherever you are at. Wherever you are at, you will slowly start building that world. because you don't got time for somebody else being in the way of what you want to accomplish. Love ain't enough. You want power. Feelings ain't enough. You want power. You want strength. You want manifestation. It ain't enough. Yeah, it's cute. I like us going out together. But it just, what happens when you're in a situation where, why is it that relationships turn into somebody saying that somebody is only caring about themselves? Why does it flip around that someone does this manipulation tactics? I'm trying to tell you, as someone who's been in relationships or who just been in even just friendships with people, it don't be that different. Believe it or not, it really don't. People do this because it's a way of trying to whip you into what they want you to be. Careful, Bella. You okay? It's to whip you into be what they want you to be. It is a way of them trying to control things to their way. Okay? That's all it's about. Or maybe you are making it all about you. But someone can communicate their feelings to you about the way that you are, right? It doesn't hurt for them to be like, hey, yo, you do this, you do that. See, that's what I'm trying to say. When people begin to start that bullshit of this, that, and the third, and da 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 that they try to put on you and shit like that. This is why I'm trying to tell you, like, don't fall into it. Don't fall into it. Because what it is if they really had something to express, they would have sat down with you and expressed it. It's that simple. They wouldn't have brought it to you like that, like, oh, all you do is this and all you do is that and da da da. They wouldn't have brought it to you that way. They would have sat your ass down and have been like, I got some concerns. And y'all would have talked it out. That emotional way of expressing things is to get control. It's to get it their way. It's a reverse psychology. I want to make it my way. I want to make it all about me in the way I want it. So I'm going to tell you this is what you're doing, but this is what I want. That's not how things go when you love somebody, when you care about, let's just fuck love, care about somebody. When you love yourself, you can sit down and you can have a conversation. It's not hard to love. It ain't hard to love. You ain't got all these asinine rules of let's be friends before lovers and all this type of shit. If we like each other, we like each other. Let's just be together. That's maturity. And if it don't work out, then it don't. Life moves on. That's how the intellectual single person moves. And when you understand this, it can answer everything that you need to know. Again, I told you in the beginning of the show, this was like an epiphany or something that I had. I think I haven't used that. I think this is an epiphany that woke me up today. Like, these people really don't know how to have relationships. They really don't. I'm tired of waiting. Hold on, y'all. I'll be right back in a few seconds. Give me a second. Understand that these people are people that all they know is looking outside their self for an answer. All they know is looking at someone else to provide the solution for them. This is why you having problems with people who used to be married and you trying to date them. This is the answer. They don't know how to have a relationship, people. Why does it turn into my best friend took my husband? Why does it turn into that bullshit? Huh? Why does it turn into those type of topics and conversations? Or a woman who cheats on her husband with a man down the street type shit. Why does it turn into that topic of a conversation? I'm gonna tell you why. It turns into that topic of a conversation because they don't go far. They have very isolated lives that don't go far. And that's another reason why some of you are single too. You realize what kind of life you have when you're in a relationship. You come to the realization that life in a relationship can be almost like feeling like you in jail or you with a cellmate or some shit. It feels like that, right? You like your freedom. You don't like the fact of depending on someone else for your feeling, for what you're going through. And trust me, people who used to be married, they don't want to deal with that. They don't want to deal with that. See, don't write it off as they've been married, they're broken, they damaged. Don't write it. This is who the fuck they are. Don't have no empathy. This is who they are. They were this way, and that's why they are fucking divorced. They're lazy lovers. Think about the time you was in a relationship and think about the pattern of things. Think about the pattern of how when you had your birthday, what did you get? Think about the pattern of when you went out, what did you get? Think about the pattern of when y'all argue, what did y'all do? Now think about motherfuckers who've been together for almost 30, 20, 30, 40, 70 fucking years. This is their life. And you want to listen to them about, and you were the one who looked at your life and said, this ain't it. This ain't it. And you want to tell me that this motherfuckers that's their life and that's it for them? That's enough for them? And that's who y'all listen to? That's who y'all get advice from? These old decrepit motherfuckers in the same t-shirt and outfit sitting there. And they get some thought-provoking question. Well, how did you stay together so long? Oh, wow, y'all admire this shit. And they don't say nothing. They don't say nothing with wisdom. They don't say nothing profound. Nothing. But talk to that bitch. Talk to that bitch. Talk to that man. That bitch. Fuck, we talk about talk to that bitch that been alone for a long time in her life. Got her first million. Talking about what happens when she got her first million. Talk to that bitch and tell me what she tell you. You know, and said, trust no happy. Listen to what they tell you about being wise about who you choose in your life. Listen to them. You ain't never gonna get an answer like that for somebody who married for umpteen years or whatever. All they got to accomplish is the fact that they fucking walked down the aisle and said I do to a motherfucker. I mean, you over here for a reason, talking to me for a reason. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You ain't over here chit chat with me for no reason. You ain't come to this show for no reason. I'm just saying. They don't have no answers, y'all. That's all I'm saying. They don't got no fucking answers. They don't know shit. So if you find yourself in this life and you get frustrated with a motherfucker that want to ask you, and just understand what's going on. I'm here to give you this template of what's going on. That's the life that they know. That's all they know. So that's how they talk. That's how they communicate. They speaking from what's inside of themselves. They don't know nothing else. They don't know another world.
All right, y'all. I gotta bounce. But let me just say this, because this is StreamYard acting up. These people don't know any but what if you strive in life to have friends the caliber of a Lady Gaga, of an Anne Wintour, of a goddamn Billy Porter, that is fine. Because you are doing everything in your life to get to the level of that lifestyle. Because this comes with, I explained to y'all what the lifestyle is and what it all means. It's a lifestyle. James Clear said, what you identify with. If you want to stop smoking, you have to stop identifying with smoking. You want to stop eating out all the time, you're going to have to slowly but surely put a box that says vacation money, and that vacation money is money that you can spoil yourself with food with. This is the type of things that James Clear made, and I think that's one of the best things I ever heard. The 10-minute rule, all these different things he said to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish in your life. So much that it becomes a part of your lifestyle. And his words is very simple, but they're so impactful. And that's what I like about James Clear. And that's why Atomic Habits is everybody's book. Like, don't build goals, build systems. Everybody's saying don't build goals, no more build system. That's how much he had a power on somebody. Because just like me, and just like others out as himself, we figured life out. We sat back and we had the time to figure life out because we sat with ourselves for a long time to figure it out. We put ourselves in spaces. We realized we had this, we have this inner compass inside ourselves to be like, wait a minute, when I was around this person, this started manifested in my life. But when this happened, this happened. This is just like the Celestine prophecies. Just like in the beginning of the book with the couple who was angry at each other. And they were sitting down at the table angry, and the guy was expressing anger in the store about something that wasn't right about his order. We realized these things. When I was sad, this person came into my life. When I was happy, this is what came. When I decided to do this, this is what came. When I stopped doing this, this is what opened up. We pay attention to all these little things in our lives. We figure life out. We have the time to figure life out. And so married people are figuring life out through the eyes of somebody else, through the eyes of manipulating and being conniving and all this kind of shit. That's how they figured life out, through that. And that's why when they're divorced, they don't know, they can't navigate with others because other people cannot deal with it, looking like, what the fuck is this bullshit with you? And then those of us that's like, have to begin to learn to love ourselves more. Because how funny, somebody married somebody like, you need to love yourself more, while they sitting over there with not saying nothing. I'm just the point, married shit. They got their married shit going on, but they telling me some shit. But sometimes just appreciate the universe working through people to tell you things. Don't even look at it. Just be like, oh yeah, thanks for that message from my ancestors, even though that ain't what you doing. Yeah, you appreciate that. And that's the type of things that when we begin to find this more love for ourselves, because we end up with these people who are divorced and we're like, are we believing that the answer to something in our life is by being married and having this happy love ending? When we look at these motherfuckers and be like, is this really the happy ending? So we have to check ourselves. We have to check ourselves all the way.